2025 is such a fun reading year. I'm really excited about a lot of my reading goals. J.R.R. Tolkien is my male author of the year. L.M. Montgomery is my female author of the year. I really want to focus on cultivating hospitality as a discipline and practice in my home. And I want to read more classics. And this February TBR absolutely reflects every bit of that. Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Haley and I am a Christian wife, homeschooling mother of 3, out to redeem my very own literary education. And in order to do that, I have set some really exciting reading goals for myself, which I talked about at the introduction of this video. And like I said, the books I hope to get to in the month of February really reflect that. And I'm excited to share. So we'll start with some of my spiritual reads, the books I hope to help me cultivate more hospitality. So I grew up with a single dad, which means that I knew nothing about homemaking, homekeeping, or hospitality. And so none other than Sally Clarkson herself is my named motherhood mentor. So I have 2 books on my February TBR. Now, the first book written by Sally Clarkson I have is The Lifegiving Home. Creating a place of belonging and becoming. Now, this book, I'm not reading all of it in February. I've actually already read this book before. However, this is the first time I'm going to be reading this book month by month, because in The Life-Giving Home, the first part kind of talks about what it means, what home means, or what it can look like, just in a really beautiful atmospheric way. But then the rest of the book goes month by month, January through December, and how you can create a life-giving home for that particular month and that particular season. And she wrote this book along with her daughter Sarah Clarkson, who is also a really wonderful author. But I'm reading this slowly. In January, I read the first part of the book just talking about home, and then I read the January chapter, which was about kind of creating rhythms and routines, and so that was really great. And the February chapter is called A Culture of Love, Growing Lifelong Relationships. And I'm really excited to continue with that. So this is going to be a year-long read for me. The next book I have is going to be a part of my morning time reading, so my devotional reading, and that is Teatime Discipleship, Sharing Faith One Cup at a Time by Sally Clarkson. Now this is a beautiful book, not only to read, but to look at. This is a book that could totally go on the coffee table or displayed with your cookbooks, but all of the pictures inside are really gorgeous. And it's about opening up your home to disciple your friends at tea time in your home and creating that space. So I think this book is going to be a really great read to help me cultivate more hospitality this year. And hopefully by the end of February, I will have at least invited one friend over for tea. So y'all keep me accountable. I wish you could, in fact, come over to my house for tea. The next book I have, I'm really excited about. I have had this on my winter TBR all year long, and I'm going to try to squeeze it in before the spring by reading it in February. And that is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I have this Everyman's Library edition that I got off of Thrift Books, so it didn't come with the dust jacket, which is fine because I buy these for the cloth-bound covers. But I'm really excited about Anna Karenina because it's the book that is often titled the greatest novel of all time. Now it's really long. It's like close to 1,000 pages long. However, Anna Karenina is supposed to be a really complex heroine. Now, as a Christian, I knew that Anna Karenina was a book about adultery, and I was kind of like, is this really really a good book for me as a Christian to read. However, when I was watching some reviews on it, it's actually not the character of Anna Karenina that I think I'm going to find most compelling, but the character of, and I could be saying this wrong because I haven't started this book yet, I think his name is Levin, but he is kind of that parallel to Anna Karenina. So while Anna Karenina is really kind of falling and falling and falling in her search for a happier life, Levin, from what I understand, is a really morally righteous character who is doing the right things. And I've heard a lot of people say that they love this book because of his character. And again, if the character name is wrong, I'm sorry because I haven't read it yet. But I'm really excited about this one, particularly because of the ideas of love and happiness. I think makes for a really great February read. And it's a Russian winter literary work, and February is still winter here where I live. So I think it's the perfect time to read this one. And my next two books are each choices from my male and female author of the year. So my male author of the year is J.R.R. Tolkien, and I'm going to start with The Hobbit. I am so excited about this one. I think it's going to be a great read to end February with as we go into springtime, because I'm not sure why, but certain books, whether I've read them or not, whether I absolutely have any idea what they're about or not, feel like a particular season to me. And The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, in my mind, don't know why, is a spring and summer read. I don't know, half this book could happen in winter and I would have no idea. But in my head, it makes me excited for spring and summer. So I think by putting it at the end of February, going into March, this will be perfect. But it's high time I read this, and I'm really looking forward to it because I know it's so many people's favorite book of all time. I really don't know that much about it, to be perfectly honest with you, because I've never watched all of the movies all the way through and I've never read the books. So I just know that it's about a hobbit that goes on some adventure. So I can't help you beyond that if you haven't read it, but I can't wait for that one. And then my last book is for my female author of the year, which is L.M. Montgomery, who wrote the Anne of Green Gables series and several other wonderful fiction series. However, I am still working my way through the Anne of Green Gables series. So the next book I have to get to is the 6th book in the series, and that is Anne of Ingleside. So at this point, Anne is a wife, Anne is a mother, and according to the back of the book, she is starting to think that Gilbert isn't in love with her anymore. And I think as a wife with a young family myself, I'm really going to relate to Anne, not because I don't think my husband loves me. I know my husband loves me, but just that self-conscious way we can get about ourselves sometimes as wives who just really love their husbands. I found Anne to be most endearing and relatable to me in the last book that I read in this series, Anne's House of Dreams, which is the 5th book. To me, Anne and her maturity is just so profound and wonderful. I loved Anne as a little girl, but I love her even more as a wife and mother. So I'm very excited about this one. But that's all I have on my February TBR. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm probably not going to make it to Anne in February, but I'm ambitious just in case I fly through The Hobbit. But most likely I will make it through Teatime Discipleship because I do that as part of my morning time devotional reading. I know I'll make it through the 1 chapter of the Lifegiving Home. For sure, Anna Karenina, and at least get started on The Hobbit. But I may love The Hobbit, and I may love Anna Karenina and fly through them, which is what I'm really hoping for because it's the beginning of the year, and I'm already in a reading slump. So hopefully these great books will help me get out of that. Please let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these or what you are planning on reading in the month of February. And I will see you next time. Happy reading!